Did you know that in 2020, one man outsmarted the entirety of Wall Street with one move? Everyone thought Andy was a loser. He was a full-grown adult living in mom's basement, unemployed and obsessed over something that just no one really understood or even wanted to talk about. He was obsessed over video games and more specifically, their economies. His friends would clown on him. They would tell him, dude, just go get a job. His parents begged them to stop spending the little bit of money that he had on these stupid little games. But you see, to Andy, these games were far from stupid. And for most people, that would have made sense. But you see, Andy wasn't like other people. He had this really good capacity for just understanding patterns and spotting those patterns before everyone else. And Andy knew that those games, like Counter-Strike, like World of Warcraft, even RuneScape, had digital assets that were selling for thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, and he knew that he could capitalize on that. But again, to everyone on the outside, Andy was just a loser that dropped out of college to play these stupid video games. Now, a few years go by and Andy does eventually get a job to fuel his idea of holding these collectibles and games and selling them then for thousands of dollars and maybe even tens of thousands of dollars, right? But then 2020 comes around and Andy is forced to stay at home. So with all of this extra time, one night, something strange happened to him. Andy was scrolling through his typical Reddit forums for these video game currencies and he saw this really strange post for something that everyone just thought was a scam. Something called NBA Top Shot. Basically this digital basketball highlight that some people had sold for $1,000, $2,000. But as soon as Andy saw this, he immediately recognized the same exact pattern that he had studied for years. There's scarcity, there's hype around this one highlight, then there's the demand. Only that now their stakes were much higher because this was all done in the blockchain. So that same day, he sold his gaming chair. He pawned off old clothes, old consoles, and was able to scrape together about $500. And he spent it all on one single digital clip that was already on YouTube, by the way. You can go on YouTube and you can see that exact clip. But he bought it. It was a LeBron James dunk, and he paid $500 for it. Now, as soon as a week goes by, but then a little bit of hype around the NBA Top Shot started to kick in, this NFT project, and boom, he sells it a few weeks later for $50,000. Then he buys another one and he sells it for $120,000. And mind you, while this is happening, Wall Street was losing millions, if not billions of dollars every single day. By 2021, the loser in mom's basement had made over $1 million trading digital assets, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies in the blockchain. And then in 2023, banks began freezing withdrawals. While people were waiting in line outside of ATMs, Andy didn't lose a single cent. In fact, the money was pouring in so quickly for him that it was scary. So while everyone else was losing, Andy seemed to be winning. Why? Because his money lived outside of the system, outside of the Federal Reserve in a decentralized, transparent, and untouchable platform. And that is when the same world that was mocking him, calling him a loser, finally saw his genius and now called him brilliant. Nowadays, Andy is trading on an app called FOMO, and what's unique about this app is that you could literally copy the exact same genius moves and genius trades that he's doing when he does it, because this app is just going to show you exactly what he's doing. It allows you to track all of his trades in real time and you can mirror them. Currently, it's easier than ever to make something happen in the blockchain, and now you can mirror these geniuses like Andy, and I feel like everyone should be doing it. This is a newer app, so it's a little bit harder to find, so if you want to check it out, there's a link in my bio and you get 10% off of all of your fees when you use that link.